The Big Canopy Campout is a coordinated international event gathering hundreds of arborists, canopy researchers, explorers, photographers, activists, camping enthusiasts and families to camp out and up in forests and raise funds for the protection of these environments. Each year, Big Canopy Campout connects people, projects and products aimed at protecting native old-growth forests around the world. Our chosen charity for 2020 is the incredible Bob Brown Foundation. They have played a fundamental role in building the Big Canopy Campout community from the beginning, with their inspiring and unrelenting work protecting the native forests of Australia and Tasmania.
Morning! So I'm Eric and I'm currently in Tasmania's south. I'm up a huge regnans here. You can see its barrel in the background, and this area is an area called the Denison, and this particular patch right here is under threat in 2020 from clear fell logging. In the background there are, you can see the emergent trees, huge 60, 70, 80 metre trees. There's actually one of the trees in this coop is 92 metres, and in the background on the other side to the west of me you can just see the World Heritage Area. Just up through there there's the Harts Mountains, probably only about a kilometre or two away, and that's been recognised as World Heritage Significant Forest, and someone's drawn a line on a map, and this area in which I'm in is going to get clear felled. So we need to stop this, and that's why we need everyone's help to make sure that this doesn't happen.
There's definitely just an entrenched culture in Tasmania that they want to lock it up and log it, and that's all they want to do. It's a really hard decision for people to make to see that the forests are worth more standing. They just don't get it. And unfortunately, there isn't really an economic sense to logging it because the logging in Tasmania is paid for by the taxpayer at a great expense. The state logging agency loses millions of dollars every year. The fact is too is that large amounts of timber coming out of these logging coops are either going to wood chips to China, which really is not the value of those forests left standing. They're going to Malaysia, they're going to Sarawak, Malaysia as veneer and then exported into Japan as plywood. And then there is small parts of it that are going in the rainforest timbers are going into fancy motels in Hobart or elsewhere in Australia. But we even don't want rainforest logged for specialty timber, which is what they call it here, because it's come to the age of the elephant's ivory that logging ancient rainforests is just absolutely a no-go zone anymore. There's enough plantations to provide the timber. What there isn't plantations for, and this is the fault of the industry, we say, that they never did plant trees like the rainforest species. But then again, the reason that they're attractive is that because they're hundreds of years old and their timbers, belong inside the tree. So we don't say that there's enough plantations to meet the demands of the rainforest industry. We say that it's time to transition out of rainforest logging. For many, many years in Tasmania, decades, they've been dropping a napalm-like substance from helicopters just after the logging, and it burns the forest area that they've logged. And so for years and years, they've been leaving rainforest timbers on the forest floor and burning them. The reason that they say they burn them is for regeneration, but we have noticed that their waste disposal burns. They're trying to get rid of all the waste that they've left behind, and that's included so many rainforest timbers. And even in my time here, which is 20 years working in the campaign, they hadn't been taking, they shouldn't have been doing what they've been doing. They shouldn't have been clear felling. They shouldn't have been logging rainforests. But if they had have been picking up everything off the forest floor and storing it, they would have years and years and years of rainforest timbers to get through.
Sus Timbers Tas are climate criminals. There is no justification for them continuing to log this immense carbon store, which is the Tarkine rainforests. Here they've begun to clear fell in the middle of incredible old growth forest. Reinforcements have arrived, just some of many who are on their way to assist us in protecting this incredibly eco-diverse, important piece of future world heritage. We're here to stay, we're here to stop the logging. Come and join us. Come and join these amazing forest defenders.
My name's Lisa. I'm here at a peaceful occupation, a blockade camp in the sumac forest in the northern part of the Tarkine. We've been blockading in this forest on and off for about 3 years, and the camp in its current form has been here now for about 3.5 months, and we get a lot of people coming through here, spending time at the camp. Without our presence here at the sumac camp, this forest that you can see around me would be gone by now. I've been campaigning in the Tarkine for about 12 years. I started to get involved in forest blockading in the Upper Florentine blockade around 2007, and very quickly also joined on the Tarkine National Park campaign. So I have been working in the Tarkine for a number of years now. It's a huge area, and I still feel like I'm getting to know the area, but every time I come back here and all the time I spend here, I just fall more and more in love with this place. It is incredible, and I've done a lot of travelling. I've spent a lot of time in other places, and there just really aren't that many places like this left in the world. I think the hardest thing about being involved in blockading is losing places that you have grown to love. So we spend all this time working, and I put everything into trying to save these places, and then sometimes, despite our best efforts, there is clear felling that happens. There are places that are logged, and coming back into those spaces, having been in the space as a forest and then coming back into it and seeing it as a clear fell, it is heartbreaking each and every time, and it does make it really hard sometimes. So the people that spend time at camp are giving up. Sometimes they're giving up work, they're giving up time with their family, they're making big sacrifices in their life to be here, and the people that are here because they're really passionate, they're really committed, they really want to save this place. And it's one of the things that really keeps me going doing this work, is seeing all of these other people that are also so committed to this place and willing to put so much on hold and put so much on the line to work on saving places like this.
I'm climbing on the blue and white line, yeah? I'm in a tree. This is my first ever time in a tree sit in a forest, and it's pretty exciting. And I got up here the cheating way, and I got pulled up by my friends, and now I'm in a tree sit. Look at this.
So this weekend we've had quite a few people, maybe around 30 people through the camp, and we've been running some workshops on climbing and also tree sitting, and also other things like de-escalation of violence tactics and non-violence and facilitation techniques and media, trying to upskill the people that are coming through here so that people can get more involved actively in the campaign and do more to try to help to save these forests. So there's lots of people that can't make it to this camp, unfortunately, because of other commitments, but there's other ways that people can contribute and get involved in the campaign. So through the Bob Brown Foundation website, bobbrown.org.au, you can get involved, you can get on our mailing list, you can make a donation, you can get involved in rallies and things that are happening in Hobart or in places that might be a bit closer to home as well. And you can also get in touch with our politicians, so particularly with our Premier Peter Gutwein, and let him know that you think it's unacceptable for him to continue logging the Tarkine.
People have been campaigning for the Tarkine for 30 years, and there's been some really big fights. There was a huge direct action campaign many years ago called the Tarkine Tigers, where there was heaps of arrests and there was grassroots activism. And then since then, it just hasn't been protected. And nationally and internationally, it's such a significant landscape. So what our dedication was when we came into the Tarkine campaign from the Bob Brown Foundation was to have people see it and then they'll want to save it. So the more people that we take into the Tarkine or see it from their corner of the world in images or video, then they'll want to become instant ambassadors and help us pressure to have it protected. And so one of the tactics with the blockades is to have people come and visit them and stay there. And so we at the Bob Brown Foundation have Scott Jordan, our Tarkine campaigner, will do a week on, week off. And then we'll have a couple of really great volunteers who their role is to head in there as camp coordinators. So people like Colette and Tanya and Peter Gibbs, some really great people who just go in and they'll do a week and they'll look after the camp. And then there'll be people like me who will go up for a stint when we want to make sure that Scott's getting time off. I think that the little small wins that we do have are made more significant by the fact that we highlight them and we say that direct action works. But also we are quite relentless, and we really are committed to just going hard against anything that comes up in front of us, like the threats to the ancient rainforests and the Tarkine, to the anti-protest laws that the government introduced and we were able to knock out in the High Court.
The Big Canopy Campout, in its simplest form, is about spending time in forests and in trees. But it's also a lot more than that. It's about connection, and that's connecting people. It's connecting projects, and it's connecting places that perhaps we would never know about, and we would maybe never visit, still may not visit, but knowing that they're important to other people and that there are people fighting to protect them connects us. So the Big Canopy Campout, for one time in the year, it really showcases the people dotted around the world who are putting huge efforts into protecting forests. And it's celebrating their efforts, which perhaps locally may not be recognised. But by having this community of people who have this true passion for not backing down and for taking a stand for whether it's a small area, whether it's one tree, or whether it's a huge forest, it means something to us to protect it. And if that means spending time and spending energy in being there and showing it to the world, then that's enough. The Bob Brown Foundation are setting the standards. They're leading by example with their action-first methods. Save the Rainforest was a theme back when I was in school, and that's stretching back almost 3 decades. Think of the damage we've done in that time. we don't have time to be sitting around in boardrooms making 5-year plans. We need to be actively protecting these areas before they're gone. They are irreplaceable in our lifetime. We need to be thinking beyond our generation and planning for future generations. It's action first. And the Bob Brown Foundation demonstrate that on a daily basis. And you see their success. It's based on a foundation of science and research. And they have their frontline activists backed up by people in the office who protect them and then follow through on all the claims that they make.
Do you know which trees which from here? Like which ones?
People taking a stand to be arrested to defend planet Earth, it's such an admirable, it's really important that people need to do that. And that's something that Bob talks about. Bob Brown is this, leading environmentalist. And he's got this great a speech that he'll give to people where he says to them, the only thing now in this climate and biodiversity emergency is action. And if you can't participate in action, seek out a group that you know is doing frontline, non-violent direct action and support them in whatever way you can. Because there are absolutely people taking action out here in Tasmania. In central Queensland right now, we've got friends who are facing the Adani coal mine and they're right there, out there on the front line taking action. And then, elsewhere around the world, there's people who are in the trees. I saw in Germany, there's a fantastic campaign right now with people in the trees fighting for the defence of old growth forests. So yeah, it's really important for people out there to remember that even if you can't get arrested and you can't get involved on the front line, there are definitely ways to support those people.
So we've just been camping up in these trees. It's Gondwana and Myrtle rainforest with a whole heap of crew and in solidarity with a whole lot of people all over the world. It's a beautiful day. This is the Big Canopy Campout 2020. This is awesome. Good one. Thanks for everyone standing up for their native, wild, threatened forests. We'll be packing down today, but this forest is still threatened from logging and we can't let that happen. So we will be back and we will be standing staunch for this forest here. But for now, goodbye from the Big Canopy Campout 2020.